turned on? Trade you. It's off now. Oh, it's off. I just turned it on. Oh, okay.
But that one's on.
Did that work?
We're good to go? Okay, all right. We are 20 minutes delayed. My apologies for that. Thank you, IT, for coming in and helping out. I really do appreciate it. All right, from the top, shall we? All right, and I'll make this quick because, like I said, we've already lost a couple minutes here. But my name is Robert Hernandez, Community Outreach and Student Recruitment Manager. I have the pleasure here today to have 3 guests in person and then 1 virtually as well, too. So let me go ahead and introduce each one very quickly. We have Dr. White. We have, let me see here, Sharaz and Meerani. And then we also have Dr. Sobolev and then Mariana Keech online as well, too. Today, we're here to discuss careers in biomedical sciences, different career pathways, and really just kind of get into general questions that you guys are going to have as you finish your degrees and launch off. I'm really looking forward to what the alumni have to say, also current students, and then let's see where this kicks off. So let me hand over the microphone. You guys are going to be sharing back and forth microphones, but let me give this back over to Dr. Sobolov, and if y'all want to give a little background behind y'all as well, please go ahead and start off that way. But the evening is for y'all to generate conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Dmitry Sobolev, and I am, I guess you can call me the chief bureaucrat of the college. And unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to tell you much about biomedical sciences because my field is environmental biology. However, some of my former students in environmental biology actually are in the biomedical sciences master's program. So that's one of the possible pathways.
My name is Sharaz, and I'm a graduate student of biomedical science, and I'm currently working with Baylor College of Medicine in research and preliminary research. But the reason why I picked to have my master's in this field, there is a story behind it, and it might inspire you. You can take whatever you want out of the story. So 11 years ago, when I was about to graduate my bachelor's in education to be a teacher, science teacher, we sat with friends and they asked me, where do you want to go after graduation? I told them I'm going to travel to America, to the USA, and I will work in research. They started to laugh at me. They thought like, you know, like, you're crazy. You live in Iraq, in Kurdistan, north of Iraq. What you're talking about, like how that could be possible. So like they made my dream like impossible, something that I cannot reach. Day passed, I got married, I left my country, I came to the US, I got busy with my children. I started to work in a childcare as a teacher, and after that I started to work as an assistant director. And every time I was going back to think about studying, I was like, oh, it's not a good time for study. You know, I have this to do. Let me finish this, let me finish that. And then after that, I had that one student who was 3 years old. Every morning he was coming, before he goes to the class, he was sitting with me to eat his donut in my office. So that was like 2020, and was like in August. That student came to school, he didn't want to eat his donut. Instead, he just wanted to go to the class. And all of a sudden, he started to throw up a lot, and he started shaking. I had to call his parents. They came and took him to the hospital. He got hospitalized and everything. And the next day, we got the news that he diagnosed with tumor in his brain. Sorry, I got emotional, but this incident brought back the, sorry, brought back my dream that I was dreaming to work in research. I spent like over 5 years finding, because they told me, why you are not going to business, like looking for business, MBA and stuff. It took me 5 years to look for a good curriculum or a good place to study my MBA. It took me 1 day to decide to go to biomedical science. When I started my class, my first class with Dr. White, it was in physiology. I was so excited, like a child that goes to kindergarten, first day of school, after 11 years not going to school. So I went and I was like sitting in there, and Dr. White started talking about physiology, and I'm like trying to catch up because it's been like so long that I was away from biology. And he's talking and talking and talking, and I'm like, what I've done to myself. That's what I exactly said. Like what I did to myself. I was fine. I was just fine. Like why I did that. But like with classes goes by, and with all the efforts that the professors did, with all their help to answer, even like sometimes, I'm sure one day I asked the very stupid question, but they were able to answer that for me. They were helping me. They were supporting me. Beside that, I was not the only one that came from a different country in that class. There's like a lot of diversity in there. Dr. Hashi, I met him at the end of the spring semester, the first semester. But before that, we were calling like he knows me, like he was supporting me, he was helping me, like answering my question if I had any. Like Dr. White was the same thing. Like even if I didn't have his class, I was always like on team, texting him, if you can help me with this, if you can do that, and I appreciate the opportunity that I got. I appreciate the experience that I had. And now I'm actually working in research. I'm working in preliminary research. My goal is to work in cancer research. My dream is bigger now. I want to go for PhD, and I hope I can reach that, and I can, the dream that I had, I can make it true.
Good job. I don't think this microphone still works. So I'm going to switch to this microphone. You can hold that one. So Sharaz is one of my favorite success stories as far as the biomedical program goes. I'm Dr. White. I'm a physiologist by trade. I actually created the biomedical program in its current form and have since passed it off to Dr. Hashi because I've moved up to what somebody may say bigger and better roles, but I just say it's more of a pain in the butt. But I still am a faculty member within the BIMS program, and I still enjoy the teaching. I imagine that there is an experience among every student when they walk into a graduate level physiology class and I start spitting off how cells do whatever they do, and I start talking about ions moving across membranes, and then I start introducing math to it, and I bet everybody freaks out a little bit, right? But it's not too hard once you get a little bit of a grasp on it, and then we build on it, we build on it, we build on it. And I like to say that Sharaz, living to her dream now of going into research, is a success story, but it's not atypical. I think every student we have had come through the biomedical program that completed the biomedical program has a success story very similar, which is one of the things that I'm proud of. Our program is small enough that we do know all of our students. You're not some faceless number, sitting back in the crowd where I have no idea who you are. I actually, try my best to learn something about you, right? And make sure that we support you to the best of our abilities. And that's something I'm proud of. That's something I want to keep going in the tradition I've started. But yeah, I don't want to just sit here and talk and take everybody's time. I think Mariana is online somewhere if she wants to speak up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So is this my turn to speak?
You say whatever you want.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, my name is Mariana. I graduated from the biomedical program in 2022. And I missed the beginning of the conversation a little bit, but I got on when you were talking about it was kind of hard to find a program or kind of decide to go back to school. The reason why I did it was because I wanted to try out graduate level classes before entering into medical school. And that was just the main thing for me, something I got recommended a lot. Undergraduate, I did in the University of Houston in nutrition. And so after that, I worked full time. And then I really wanted something to supplement my studying for the MCAT. And this was a great program for that. We, like Dr. White said, the first day I had class with him, I probably didn't understand anything he was saying. He just went full speed, but shortly after, probably got about 25% or so. It was all really helpful. And now I'm a first-year medical student, and I'm about to finish my semester here in about 1 week. So at first, I didn't know if the classes were gonna really help me during medical school, but now after doing it, I realized like the biochemistry, the cell and molecular, the physiology that Dr. White was talking about, and the cardiovascular, and also the integrative cardiovascular control. Like that was probably one of my favorite classes by Dr. White, which helped me so much when I just finished my cardiovascular block in medical school, and it was probably the easiest so far just because I had that great foundation from Dr. White. So I was super appreciative for that. And yeah, I think overall it was a great program, especially if there's any students wanting to go into medical school. It's not necessary, but it really does set a great foundation. So, yeah.
Am I supposed to press something? I just wanted to comment on what Mariana just said, and this is actually one of the big things about the BEAMS program at UHV. Okay, basically you get your undergrad in biology, you want to go to medical school, you don't quite feel confident enough just yet, you don't feel quite ready enough yet, spend 2 years at UHV doing biomedical sciences, get your master's, get your credibility, get a publication or 2 or 3 or dozen out of the program. Well, I'm not promising anything. But yeah, build up your credentials, and then you're ready to go on to bigger and better things.
And so what Mariana said is a very common theme among students who have used the biomedical program as a bridge to medical school. It's gotten them more confidence for taking the MCAT, and it's definitely made the first year of medical school easier, right? Because one of the things that I try to do in the biomedical program is teach you how to think, right? We try to do how to think, not just memorizing trivia, because memorizing trivia will not cure a patient, right? Hey, look, that's a bone. That doesn't help, right? But that's one of the things that we pride ourselves in. And we also, for anybody who is wondering about the biomedical program, all of the courses are done at 7 o'clock at night. They're done both in Victoria and at Katy through interactive television or internet television or ITV, whatever we want to call it. And that is a benefit to someone like Sharaz, who had to work all day because she still has to make a living, but then took that time in the evenings to come get an education. It makes it very convenient compared to some other programs where you can't hold a job. You have to go to school from 8 o'clock in the morning till noon, and then you're lucky if you can get a couple hours work in afterwards. So that's one of the reasons that we put the program at night, is to make sure that we cater to that working student who is, finished undergrad, trying to find something to do before either medical school or finding that research position, getting the credibility up, right, for that research position. Cool things about the biomedical program is that we offer 3 ways to complete the biomedical program. I don't know if we're onto the details yet, but 3 ways to complete the biomedical program. You can either, if you make an agreement with a faculty member, do a thesis and present a thesis, write a thesis. You can get an internship at some kind of a clinical lab, biomedical lab, even some healthcare type related internships. We allow that to be used for credit to complete the program because different people have different goals, right? And we want to make sure that the end of the biomedical program is putting you towards your goals. So, I mean, I even at one point approved an internship for somebody who was interested in medical marketing. That's not lab research, that's medical marketing, but it takes knowledge, it takes biomedical knowledge to be able to do marketing. And I approved that internship, and that dude's making way more money than I do doing marketing for some medical company now. And that's another one of those success stories, right? And the third way that you can finish, if you're not really into research, or you don't want to do an internship, you can take a coursework only route that requires you to pass an oral examination at the end that would be similar to giving a thesis defense or an internship presentation. So all three of the routes require you to give some kind of an oral presentation at the end, whether that's testing or not. Pick your poison, right? But for somebody who may want to go to medical school, they may want to take all of the classes and all of the advanced courses and just do that, oral examination at the end. So we like the fact that we have options for you, and we're pretty open to you picking your pathway. So that's pretty awesome.
Flexibility is the name of the game.
Also, I wanted to add that not only this program will make you prepare in the knowledge, like the scientific knowledge, but also it will make you ready to write reports, to write papers, to read scientific papers, and also to do presentations too. Now, every Friday I do have, we have lab meeting that we present the work that we do. And every time I go back, I remember Dr. Mitchler's her class, and what she was teaching us, how to present, how to prepare a beautiful PowerPoint, a scientific PowerPoint, and all that. So it's actually not only I got the benefit of the knowledge, I also got the benefit in the professional way, how to present, how to write a paper, and I wrote my internship report based on all the notes that I got during the classes.
Mariana, anything to add out there in TV land?
Can she hear you?
She can. She heard me. She just can't.
Oh yeah, sorry, 1 second. I was trying to unmute my computer. It was not working. But yeah, I was gonna say that that portion of the program was probably one of my favorites. I did the research route, outside research in ophthalmology, and not only was that super helpful for my studies, but also for medical school. It just looked really, really great, and it was just kind of like a standard. I think most days today, everyone has a master's program that enters medical school, also has research experience. And so it definitely makes you a more competitive applicant. But also getting to present the research to the faculty was a great experience, just academically.
Robert, you gonna guide the discussion and tell us?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And really, I recruit for the College of National Applied Sciences on the graduate side. So I'm always talking to students about biomedical sciences among the other technology programs. And to echo, a lot of what y'all have said so far in terms of, this being a program that really kind of helps bridge somebody that's maybe on the fence in terms of going to medical school. I like that you highlighted that different pathway for that student that decided to go with marketing, right? What other type of career paths have you seen some of your other graduates take?
All right, so we have good students and we have difficult students. And one of my most difficult students turned out to be one of my best students. She caused trouble all the time. She had complaints all the time. I had to deal with her all the time. And it was because she wanted to go to medical school. And she didn't want to go to medical school because she wanted to be a doctor. She wanted to go to medical school because somebody told her that's what she was supposed to do. Well, we got her about halfway there. And then she went and did an internship down in the 5th Ward doing public health. And she found out she likes helping people. She didn't want to be a doctor anymore. She didn't want to be a medical doctor. She now does public health in Houston, down Harris County, 5th Ward. And I think she's running one of the free clinics down there with her master's of biomedical science. And that's one of those successes. She picked something that is totally not research related, but she has the background in medical sciences now that helps her talk to these people, right? To help them get the services that they need. And that's one of those that, I mean, it surprised the heck out of me because I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to get you into medical school, but you're gonna have to change your attitude a little bit. You're a little bit difficult. And sure enough, she fit right in down there. She is great at what she does, and she's another one of those success stories. We also have students who have gone on to dental school. We always talk about medical school, but we've got students that have gone on to dental school. We've got students who have gone on to get PhDs in research. We've got, I think Frank is about to graduate from Texas A&M with biochemistry or molecular biology, maybe molecular biology. Hashi would know if he's still up there, but Frank is defending his thesis in May, or his dissertation in May. And so, you know, there are plenty of routes to go. People always wonder, they're like, well, what can I do with that degree? And I don't know what I can do with that degree. There's so much that you can do with a master's degree. If you like talking to people and you understand science, you can go sell cardiovascular devices to hospitals and cardiologists and make, because they work on commission, $250,000 a year selling cardiovascular devices to cardiologists. You can be a drug dealer, but a legal drug dealer, right? You can go and you can sell pharmaceuticals to the hospitals, to the different doctors. You can work for the pharmaceutical company. You can be quality control at any of these big medical companies, pharmaceutical companies, anything else. And here's the one that nobody understands, or nobody gets, or nobody thinks of. You can be quality control at the ice cream factory for HEB. And you get to taste the ice cream. And you get to make sure that bacteria is not colonizing the ice cream. And I bet Bluebell would have loved that a few years ago when they had that listeria outbreak or whatever it was. They needed a biomedical scientist to take a sample, put it on a dish, and see if something grew, right? So there is plenty that you can do with the degree. If you really like writing, if you like journalism, you can be a science writer. There is so much that you can actually do with this degree, but people always, for whatever reason, want to limit it, and they're like, and this happens starting at the undergrad level, they're like, I have a degree in biology, so I must go biology. And there's no such job as biology, right? Biology is the study of life, and biology is everywhere. It's everything that you can do. You just have to be creative with what you want. So of course, there's no, I want to go biomedical. No, you're gonna be, you know, a lab worker, a research assistant, a medical doctor, a journalist, whatever. There are plenty of opportunities if you open your eyes and get creative.
And I'm glad that you brought up that incident with microbes, because that's kind of my field, in addition to environmental microbiology. And what you're talking about here, about physiology, that actually intimidates me, because I love my bugs. They don't have any physiology, they only have biochemistry. Very simple. But I just wanted to mention a weirder career path that some of our students have taken prior, actually some of them prior to the days of biomedical sciences. Think about it. Okay, so you're doing your biomedical sciences, you're getting your lab experience, you're getting your lab training, you're getting understanding of how science works, you're getting your understanding of how to run tests, and most importantly, you're getting your understanding of how to make sense of the test results. What can you do about it? Pretty much anything that involves tests. And the weirder career paths some of our students have taken, they went out to work for chemical companies, running their quality control labs. One of those students, I guess he came back to the fold. He's running, he is managing the floor at the biomedical testing company in Austin right now, but the other one got stuck in the chemical sciences career, and I strongly suspect that he's making more than any one of the faculty members here in this room.
Is that Colby?
Yep.
Another success story.
Yes.
We're just full of them. So we'll send you to work at a chemical company.
So, you know, another question that I often get Sorry about that. Yeah, I was on mute there for a second. So another common question that I get asked when I'm talking to students as I recruit them is, how can I access the network of alumni? Are there ways, or do y'all have a good database, or is it just more of a relationship and let's connect you via LinkedIn? Because that's the next natural step. A lot of times it's like you put in the work for the degree, and then how do we facilitate someone to connect with that next opportunity?
And facilitating someone to connect with the alumni, a lot of times, we're lacking in the official way to do that. I keep in contact with a lot of the students. I know Dr. Hashi talks to every student on the phone every week. I don't know how he does it. I don't have that kind of time, but it's one of those that we know people. And you come and say, hey, and ask a question. It's like, well, hold on, let me connect you with this person. You bring up a good point. We probably ought to work on getting a more official way for the alumni connections, maybe try to set something up and do it. But that's one of those that I don't think of things.
Yeah, no worry. I mean, and this could very well be, a great kickoff to, an annual get together of biomedical scientists, to be honest, because I think that's usually kind of the next step is really let's gather together as a network and leverage each other. We rise together. It's great to hear that these other individuals have great successes, but let's bring them all together and let's see if we can, share that resource and connection. Yes.
Keep an eye out. We're planning for an alumni meetup probably around March or April. It's probably going to be arts and sciences I guess, as a tribute to the legacy of the College of Arts and School of Arts and Sciences before it became colleges of arts and college of arts, separate colleges of arts and sciences.
Can I say something?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yes, on top of that, our advisor, Armin Carr, she is maintaining all the connection for our alumni. So I have the list. If you need, we have many students there now with in medical school, in dental school, and I have I have connections with all the students. So if you need anything, just let me know. I can help you.
We just need to make it official.
Okay.
So to spur the conversation a little bit more, when I was in math class and I'm sitting there doing algebra and I get frustrated and I ask the teacher, when am I ever going to use this? I'd like to actually kind of hear from Mariana and Sharaz to kind of see, perhaps a course or a lesson or something that you navigated, and then not necessarily the next day, but somewhere down the line, you were like, haha, I saw this in class. Could you kind of share maybe an experience where you're able to pull from the classroom and inject it into the professional role or wherever you happen to be at that moment?
So where I did my internship is where I'm working with them. So the second week of my internship, what we did, it was I did genotyping, and straightforward. I just, all what Dr. Hashi was saying during cell and molecular biology I was like, yes, I know how to do PCR. I know how to do the gel electrophoresis. I know how to, because I started to remember all the notes and all the stuff that Dr. Hashi was telling us during the cell and molecular biology, and and I applied it through my internship. And I was like, if I had any question or anything, I was going back to my notes during the classes, and I was looking at it and then go the next day and work with it. So it really helped me specifically that the classes that I took with cell molecular, that was specifically that helped me a lot with the field that I'm working with right now.
If I can comment on that as well, and I'm glad Robert mentioned algebra. And this is actually the line that I like to use in my micro class. You said you're a biology major. You said you're not going to deal with math. Ha ha, get used to it. And the reason for that is lots of science is about building models. Many of those models are mathematical models. And here's my favorite example, okay, from my own field. Okay, so let's imagine, okay, you don't do biomedical, you do environmental biology masters, okay, and you get a job as a wildlife manager, and you're managing a hunting preserve. What should be the size of the deer population so that you can maximize the harvest of deer sustainably, so that you can take the maximum number of trophy deer possible out of that population for an unlimited period of time? The short answer here is you do math. The longer answer here is that there are mathematical models that involve algebra, derivatives. That's probably calculus field. Okay, so calculus, okay, that involve derivatives that you need to know in order to figure them out. So that's the breaks.
Awesome, thank you. Mariana, your take on that question in terms of just, things that you're pulling from the class and interjecting into your profession?
Yeah, definitely. I actually love that question because it's something that I would ask myself quite frequently during undergraduate and also in the graduate program. First, like I already mentioned, it is very applicable in medical school. It sets a great foundation. Second, just to also point out the fact that Dr. White said all the classes are 7 p.m. That was also great for me because I was working full time as an EMT in the ER. And I remember very specifically, especially I would say with the cardiovascular, the integrative human cardiovascular class with Dr. White, when I was working in the emergency room and we were treating a patient with a heart attack and we were looking at the EKG, just even understanding that physiology, maybe in the moment, it was not the time to be like, oh, I understand what's going on, like the ischemia. But in my brain, I was kind of going through what we were learning in class. And so it was just really awesome to be able to apply that and see that in an EKG, as well as in that same ER, we would actually take blood samples and we were the lab as well. So we would mix them and just get the lab values that way. And so the cell and molecular class with Dr. Hashi was very applicable to understand like the process that was going on in there as well. So yeah, there's been a lot of times that I've asked, like, is everything that I'm learning as a student applicable? But once you get out in the field and once you're actually in the clinic working, if that's where you'd want to work with a patient, no matter what, all those methods and just protocols, whatever, like they'll all run through your head and you'll understand what's actually happening. Then you can further understand how to fix it, stop it, how to help it. We also take, I believe, a pharmacology and toxicology class within the program, very helpful to understand the basics of the drugs that we're giving patients. So yes, it's definitely very, very useful, a great foundation.
Oh, hey, Dr. Hashi, I think you're trying to speak through, but I'm not sure your microphone's not picking up your audio very well. Oh, no, you just muted yourself, but I don't know if maybe your speaker is further away from where you are right now, but if you could unmute and then just kind of let us know your comment.
Mute.
Perfect, there you go, you're good.
Okay. All right. It's not only that. I mean, those students who ended up in medical school, I think we have 8 or 9 of them, all over in the United States, from California to East Coast. It also helped them for their MCAT prep because you know that in order to go to medical school, they need to have a good MCAT score, and MCAT score. Having good MCAT score is not easy, but our program, especially in cell and molecular biology, I always challenge them with the MCAT book, with the MCAT questions. So they are more or less familiarized with those. And on top of that, they have experience. Giving you an example, last Monday, we had 9 internship presentation here. And out of 9, 8 of them are from different countries. So we are diverse also.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Now, I know we're getting towards the end of time, and I know, Dr. White, you have an exam to go proctor, but I do want to put out kind of one last question real quick, and this is kind of, it goes back and forth. Students, alumni, you give your response, but the question is really, not to minimize the program, but to ask the professors, what is the one thing that you really try to have your students take away when they're done with this program? And then for the students, really, I want to hear what you took away from the program. So please go ahead and share.
So if I had to characterize into something simple, it's I want you to be a creative thinker by the time that you're done. I want you to be able to take knowledge that you know and apply it to situations that you've never seen before, which is why when you get to this exam, yeah, exactly. When you get to my exams, I'll ask you some weird off-the-wall questions that will scare you, confuse you, make you just wonder what drugs I'm on or something else. But in the end, if you stop and you think about it and you apply the knowledge that you know to a situation that you don't know, you can usually answer the question fairly easily. So that's what I want students to take away. You don't learn trivia. You don't regurgitate trivia. That's never going to get you anywhere in life. That's get you money if you're on Jeopardy, but it doesn't help if you want to solve research questions, solve medical questions. So creative thinking, critical thinking is something that I hope all my students take away. And if anybody needs to email me, my email is whitedw@uhv.edu, but I do have to go turn on a Teams meeting, so I'm out.
All right, well, thank you, Dr. White.
If I can comment on that as well, I'm going to answer the question with another question. What do you take away from the gym? You go to the gym, you work out, you sweat. What do you get out of it? You work out your muscles. Okay, you build your muscles for when you need them in the future. Same thing is done at school. Okay, when you are getting 2 years worth of intellectual workout. You are preparing your mind to apply not even your knowledge, okay, because you can always look things up, but you can apply the intellectual patterns, the modes of thinking to the problems that you have never seen before. And in that regard, I remember my statistics teacher from my undergrad who kept saying, I don't expect you to memorize every single formula. You can look them up. What I want you to do, number one, most importantly, I want you to know where to look those things up. Number two, I want you to apply those things correctly. And number three, I want you to make sense of the application of those things to the real world problem. And that is probably, those three things are probably the most important things that you will ever get out of your education.
I wanted to add something regarding Dr. White's exam questions. So his questions actually not make you, like, it makes every single cell of your brain to work. So like it train your brain in the way that after you go to other classes, like after other semesters, you see, like, you're going to be very creative in your answers, and it will make you think in a different way. I remember one of the exams, like after I'm done with the test and everything, I closed my eyes and I was able to see the signals of my brain. This is how intensive like my brain was working. It was really a great opportunity for me. It was a great experience. I'm not gonna say it was an easy thing, but it was something I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the whole journey. I enjoyed every class. I enjoyed all the semesters.
If it were easy, you wouldn't have to be here.
Mariana?
Yeah, I can definitely add on to that. I think Dr. Sobolev did such a great job at describing exactly what I was thinking. It definitely is a great muscle to exercise. I think anything you do academically that you add on to what you're already doing is only going to benefit you in the long run. And I would also say that the professors are really great. They all, like Dr. Hashi, he definitely reaches out and gets to know you. That's also really beneficial, and you get to build a community and connections with PhD professors who are experts in their field, and so you can pick their brain and get any questions answered by them, which was also something great that I took away. And also just, I think the habits of studying, because undergraduate degrees are very different than graduate. You have to study different, you have to set different standards. And if you're continuing on to a PhD or even medical school, it's a great part to exercise how you're studying and just get better study habits. And I think that's something I took away. It is more workload in graduate school. So it definitely helped me get my studying habits going, and being able to study for hours and hours a day. That's something very useful now.
Mariana, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for a valuable time, because last year my son was in the first year and he was telling me, don't call me even during the weekend. So thank you for your 1 hour or more than 1 hour time to spend with us. I know how busy you are. First year is 12, 13, 14 hours of study. And so thanks for participating.
Yes, of course. Of course. It's an honor.
All right. Well, we're drawing to the end. I know we started this late, but with Dr. White here, I kind of want to go ahead and draw this to a conclusion. I think you guys have class to get to as well too. So thank you again very much for being here on behalf of the University of Houston Victoria. Thank you. Just some housekeeping before y'all leave. If y'all did park out in that lot out there, I do have some parking vouchers. If you'd like to go ahead and take one, please visit me up here. Mariana, thank you for being online. Sharaz, thank you for being here. And you're going to graduate this fall. Congratulations. And Dr. Sobolev, thank you again for being here. And that is going to be a wrap. Thank y'all very much. Y'all have a good night.
Yes. Same to you. Thank you. Thank you, Meerani.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Thank you, Mariana. Bye.